All right, there we go. I don't know if anyone can hear me. I don't know if I've done this successfully, but I think I'm live. Ain't that crazy? All right, just getting myself situated. I think everything's working. I think so. I don't know. Yeah, I've never done a YouTube live stream before, but I wanted to do a little something simple just to kind of mark this occasion. I had not anticipated doing YouTube for 2 years. Hello. So I wanted to do a little something. This probably won't be long. I just wanted to do a little thing just to mark that this happened. Because like I said, I did not expect uh, to be doing YouTube for 2 years and cheers and all that for another 2 years. But yeah, so I went to my community section, I went to Twitter, and I got a few questions that I'm gonna answer, and then I'm probably just gonna chit chat a little bit about what I've got going on and what I might be doing next. But it's, not that serious. But yeah, so I'm Alex. I am the human behind Five-Toed Sloth. For anyone who has not seen my videos where I am in front of the camera, I'm sorry to disappoint that I'm not actually a sloth. Uh, I know there might have been a suspension of disbelief there. Sorry about that. Uh, I've been doing this for 2 years now. Technically, my anniversary is September 1st because my first video, Can It Be Played a Jimbo, was released on September 1st, but the anniversary kind of snuck up on me and I forgot about it. And like I said, I've never done a YouTube live stream before, so I needed a few days to prep and kind of like actually psych myself up to do it because it's very weird. I'm used to working in a heavily edited format, so it's a little odd to not have my editing tools. For 2 years, geez, that's the entire length of my channel. That's crazy you've been here for 2 years. But yeah, so technically the anniversary is September 1st, and I started with a season about specifically fictional board games, but now I do mostly what ifs and uh, pedantic fan theories. I try to keep things pretty light and not serious. But yeah, I think I'm just gonna get into some of the questions that people asked me and just chit chat about that kind of stuff. So, from YouTube specifically, the first question I got was from myself, just because I like to throw in a little something from my secondary channel, just because I think it's funny. And I asked myself what my favorite flavor of Pop Tart was, and my favorite flavor is wild berry, the Pop Tart that is like the blue and purple frosting. I love that one. And I like it especially because you can't get it in Canada. So it's like a rare thing that occasionally, if I go to the States, I can like grab a couple boxes and like stockpile them. Occasionally it's available, but not normally. Okay, so the next question is from Jillian Rain Torres, who asks, which one do you love more, Pokemon or Digimon? Uh, I prefer the Pokemon games, but I much prefer the Digimon anime. So my favorite Pokemon game, just to expand on that, is Pokemon Gold, not Heart Gold, specifically Gold because I'm clouded by nostalgia. And my favorite Digimon anime, for the same reason, is Digimon Adventure. Oh, I certainly love Pokemon. Like it's comparing two of my favorite things in the world. So but my favorite Digimon anime is Digimon Adventure, and close second is Digimon Tamers, but I feel like that's a pretty normal answer. I'm gonna be honest, I haven't actually played Sword. Oh, hello, Mega Flygon. Yeah, you asked a couple of questions, so I'm gonna get to those in a sec. I haven't actually played Pokemon Sword. I've watched a ton of videos about it, obviously, but I don't know. I guess I was just waiting for the price to drop and to kind of get a sense of if it was worth it, because I didn't know. Because on initial release, it didn't seem like. Yeah, I know people have had that opinion, like that it's overrated, but everybody, if you enjoy it, then you enjoy it. That's like inarguable. But yeah, it's not something I've picked up yet, and I'm kind of on the fence about it. So once it gets cheaper, I'll buy it. Uh, all right. Well, Mega Flygon, since you're here, I'll answer your questions. Let's see. Okay. Oh, I loved Omega Ruby, like, and Alpha Sapphire. I bought both of those, but I love Gen 3, so getting to relive those was fun. All right, so Mega Flygon, your first question was, are you planning to do another Digimon What If, but with different series, like from DJ Armor and all the way to the new one, Digimon Ghost series? Or am I planning to just do the regular Digimon, then stop there? Uh, I don't know. I don't know for sure yet, but I've planned up until Digimon Tamers, because after that, I watched Digimon Frontier, and I have been watching Digimon, the Ghost series. I have been watching it, so I'm, like, up to date with Digimon, but past Digimon Tamers, I didn't watch a ton. Like, it wasn't, like, part of my regular thing. So, I've planned Digimon videos up until Tamers, but, I totally play it by ear whether I'm actually gonna do something or not. Yeah, I haven't rewatched Digimon Frontier in a long time, but I remember really liking it when it actually came out, but it kind of just nobody talks about it and nobody watches it, but I remember it being a lot better than people gave it credit for. So, who knows, I might do something with that. But Digimon Frontier is such a different series compared to the other one, so if I was going to do something with Digimon Frontier, it would need to be its own thing. You should watch Digimon, it's really good. Start from the beginning. Start from the original Digimon Adventure if you are going to, because a lot of the series kinds of builds upon that. So don't start somewhere random, unless you want to start with Digimon Ghost Game because it's kind of like a standalone thing and it's happening right now. So, but yeah. So in terms of like my current Digimon series of just imagining them with their own Pokemon teams, I've planned all the way up until Digimon Tamers. So I include Digimon Adventure 2, so like Davis, Yoli, Cody, Ken. I even have a team for Willis, if anybody remembers him. But yeah, so there will be Digimon content in the future, but for now it's just kind of like a little side thing, less majorly focused. I like them as like cute little short videos. Then Mega Flygon, you asked, why did you stop posting on your second channel? I stopped posting on my second channel because I stopped doing Twitch live streams. I started before I released my first YouTube video, I was doing Twitch streaming, and I never expected. I've only seen the first couple episodes, so I can't say if Digimon 2020 actually got better. But I remember I did not like the first few episodes, so whatever. But yeah, so I stopped doing Twitch streaming. I kind of started doing Twitch streaming. I was mostly doing Pokemon ROM hacks and Animal Crossing and stuff. I stopped doing it mainly because it wasn't what I wanted to do. I was kind of doing it as practice for YouTube because I had to get used to talking into a microphone, making thumbnails, doing stuff like that. So I kind of just wanted to use that as like practice for YouTube. I'm not saying I'll never go back to Twitch streaming, but it's not like my main focus. I kind of have to like really divvy up my time specifically because I work a full-time job. Well, I work several jobs actually. So I kind of have a limited amount of time that I can give specifically to YouTube or Twitch, and I always kind of default to YouTube, and I still only release like what, once a month? So that's why I stopped posting there because I haven't done any live streams. What is my favorite Mega Pokemon? Well, one of my favorite Pokemon of all time is Alakazam, so I would say Mega Alakazam. But I also really like Mega Gengar and Mega Pidgeot. I think they look really cool, but there are a lot of really cool Megas. Like Mega Mawile is also amazing. Then Mega Flygon, you had one more question, which was, what's your plan for your channel going so far? So, I have a couple of plans in mind for stuff I want to do. It's mostly just a lot of similar stuff to what I'm doing. Like I'll keep doing the Digimon series. I'll keep doing my What If James Never Got Engaged series. That's kind of like my main thing. And I have plans for that up until at least Sinnoh. So I anticipate at least going that far. And then based on how things are going, I might continue into like Unova and Kalos just for the fun of it. But right now I have story threads up until Sinnoh. And I'll say it here. I also have ideas for specifically What If James Never Got Engaged movies. So like just everything contained into like one video with a different editing style. I'm still playing around with that. I don't know what I'm going to do with it, but I've been like toying around with that idea. And then otherwise I want to do more specifically story-based what ifs because I've done other what if videos. Oh, well, thank you so much, Stefan Antonio. That's very nice. uh, I don't know if I'd call it underrated. I have received plenty of love for it, which is been very overwhelming and very positive. Just I'm very grateful for it. Um, but yeah, doing other what ifs. So right now I'm working on because I've done what ifs, other what ifs for like Pokemon, Ben 10, and I did my Star Wars Jar Jar video, which people weren't obsessed with, but I love that video. But I have other ideas for like I'm gonna do a sequel to the Ash Nuzlocke video, a sequel to the Ben 10 video, and um I also have like specifically story-based what ifs for like Naruto, One Piece. I have one for Avatar: The Last Airbender I've been working on for like a year, but I still haven't gotten the script to where I want it to be. So a lot of similar stuff, and then I might do a season 2 for Can It Be Played if people are actually interested in me continuing doing board game stuff because it's a lot of work to design board games from scratch. Yeah, I have, like, what ifs in mind for, like, a ton of series, and then it's just kind of like I also have ones for Star Trek, I have some for Bleach, I have some name it. I've got ideas for a lot of stuff, it's just whether I like it enough to really invest the time in it. Yeah, Avatar is one of my favorite shows of all time, so however long it takes me, I will finish that one. I don't wanna say anything else about it because I don't wanna spoil anything unintentionally, but that's a script that I'm really, really liking, and we'll see if I can finally finish it and get it going. But likely the next actual What If story is gonna be for Naruto, because that one's already I don't mind saying that one's already recorded, I'm just video editing it. But yeah, so I have plans for a lot of random things, and it's kind of like whatever gets made gets made. I also have other random fan theory videos to do that are kind of goofy and stupid. Oh yeah, I've watched Avatar all the way through like no less than a dozen times, like at least. Okay. Oh, and Milan, you asked my favorite starter. That's a tough one. My favorite final evolution starter is Torterra from Gen 4, but my favorite first first form, this might be random and, like, surprising, but my favorite is Chikorita, specifically shiny Chikorita. I have reasons for why it's my favorite, but it's, like, a long story, uh, and it's a boring story, so I'm not gonna say it. But yeah, Chikorita is my favorite, and then Torterra is my favorite, like, final evolution. I guess that goes into, so Josh Farmer asked, "If you were a Pokemon trainer, what would your team be?" Oh, I literally just got to that question, Josh, you literally just posted that. That's funny. Um, oh, you mean Chikorita's a bad speedrunning choice? I absolutely. Chikorita's a if you're playing Gen 2, Chikorita's an awful first choice because there are plenty of other options for grass Pokemon, and they're not even that useful in the actual gym challenge. I just personally really like Chikorita, so it has nothing to do with strategy. If you're going strategically, literally either of the other 2 are way better. I think strategically Cyndaquil's probably better just because you don't get much access to fire Pokemon. I know you can get Slugma early on in Heart Gold from an egg, but that's like random chance. But anyway, we're off topic. But yeah, Josh asked if I was a Pokemon trainer, what would my team be? And I have 2 answers to that. So when I was younger, not that much younger, but when I was younger, the 6 Pokemon that I always envisioned as my team, it didn't really have a theme, but my 6 favorites were Alakazam, Arcanine, Dragonite, Braviary, Tyrantrum, and Pangoro. So when I was younger, those 6 were my favorite. Alakazam in particular was like my favorite Pokemon since I started. So the first Pokemon game I ever played was Pokemon Yellow, and then I bought Pokemon Red afterwards. So I'm a lot older than I look. um, but Alakazam was always like my specific ace. So like whenever I went to school or hung out with friends, Alakazam was the one that won me all the battles. So Alakazam is always in my top 6. Like if I had to pick a team, I always have Alakazam. But at this point, if I was to pick a team, I would probably go a lot more basic with it. Oh, nice. Yeah, because they're really expensive now. They're not easy to get. So the fact that I have a lot, I still have all of my original Pokemon games and my original Game Boy and Game Boy Color. I feel very fortunate that they weren't lost over the years because they're so expensive now. But yeah, if I was to pick a team now, I would probably go really basic and stupid with it, and I would have like Slackoth, Slacking, Chikorita, Torterra, Alakazam, and Slowpoke, and just like be a very like lazy hang out in the woods kind of team, like doing nothing. But yeah, there's a lot of Pokemon that I'm like a huge fan of. I always used to make like themed teams, so I never like kind of going in line with the video that I released yesterday, I like doing themes for my teams. So even when I was younger, when I used to play Pokemon, I would never play with just like whatever Pokemon I caught. I would be like, I can only use this type, or I can only use these kinds of moves, or I can only use this. So I like doing theme teams. So there's a lot of answers to that question. So the next question is from Alex and Positivity, which is a great name. My name is also Alex, and Positivity is nice. They ask, "Do you like bittersweet chocolate?" And the answer is yes, I do like bittersweet chocolate. I used to hate it, and now I love it, which is just kind of a sign of taste buds changing as you age, probably. Next question is from Phonias Bluel. There's a bunch of questions in here, but I'll go through them. There's like 5 or 6. So the first question, are you an actual sloth because you are very slow, bro? No, I'm not an actual sloth, but I am quite slow. I live a life of leisure and I like to take my time. Then they asked, how were you inspired to do the James series? And I was thinking about it beforehand because I wanted to kind of like get an idea of what I would answer. And I don't really remember. I know that I released it January 2021. And at the time, I assumed it would only be one video. I didn't really anticipate doing sequels. Um, but I remember I worked on the script for like 3 months before. And I don't remember where the idea came from. I don't remember how I started. I just remember working on the script. So wherever it came from, who knows? But I write a lot of fan fiction, so and I love doing fan fiction where it's, like, not necessarily a what if, but, like, we change one thing about the series or the universe or the characters, and we just kind of, like, imagine what would be different. So, I do like what ifs, but it wasn't always. Yeah, I that's a good point. I mean, a lot of those I've found more and more what if videos as I've been doing them. So I have connected with other people who do similar kinds of stuff, but it's definitely a smaller niche of, like, it's kind of a theory, but it's kind of fan fiction, but it's kind of not. It's but there are other people who do that kind of stuff, so I know I'm not, like, the first or anything, but, um, it's a really cool niche, and, like, the more I get into it, the more, interesting I find it. So I don't know where the idea came from, but I remember specifically how I made it, and I remember at the time, I'd only been doing YouTube for 4 months, and I really, really, really wanted to release it before New Year's or on New Year's. And once I had finished the script and recorded it, I only had 3 days before New Year's, and I tried to finish a 32-minute video, full video editing, full music in 3 days, and I was not successful. Uh, I I think my wrist still hurts from trying to finish that video editing in 3 days. Like, it is, like, a huge reminder to me to take my time because I can really mess myself up trying to do too much video editing. Because that one in particular, I was like, "I'm gonna do 10 minutes a day, then I'll be done, and it'll be great." And I remember on the 3rd day, I was only 15 or 20 minutes in. No, I hadn't hit 20 minutes yet. I was 15 minutes in, and I was like, "There's absolutely no way I'm finishing." I remember I literally, like, broke down crying from how much pain was in my wrist because I think I literally worked, like, 12-hour days to try and finish that video. Uh, and I finally just kind of, like, broke down, was like, "Yeah, I can't do that. I need to give myself an extra week minimum." And that's why it was released, I think, on January 7th. Was I wanted to do it on January 1st, but I had to take an extra week. There was no way. And that's also why those videos in particular take time, is because there's a lot of minutia involved in it, and it can really it takes way more time than I ever expected. Funniest Blue's next oh, wait, actually, Josh, you asked, "Have you ever played Pokemon Ranger?" I have, but I don't own it. So when it came out, a friend of mine had it, and I played his copy for, like, a little bit, but I don't own it. But yeah, I would love Pokemon Ranger to come back like Pokemon Snap did, because it's a really cool, like, side series, but it's not very well known. Um, but yeah, Funniest Blue also asked, "What's your favorite hobby?" Well, besides YouTube and writing, I also collect retro video games. I like doing a lot of miniature painting, so specifically for, like, war games like Star Trek Attack Wing, Star Wars Armada, Warhammer 40K. And I also do a lot of biking and swimming. I go biking every day. I bike, like, 5 kilometers a day minimum. Oh, and then they also asked, "And also, why are sloths so cute?" I don't know, they just are. They're just great. I love sloths. Oh, they also asked me to make my Pokemon team, but I mentioned that it's a team heavily focused on Slackoth, Slacking, Alakazam, whatever, whatever. Yeah. Yeah, I don't know why Pokemon Ranger didn't get more. I think they just put a lot of their focus into the main series, I guess. I don't know. It's too bad. Oh, and then somebody, uh, Galaxy Inferno asked for my girlfriend's name and phone number, which is really difficult because I don't have a girlfriend. So I know you're just joking, but I can't give that to you. They also asked for my fave Pokemon, which Slackoth and Alakazam are my favorites. And they also asked if I like Greninja, and the answer is yes, I do like Greninja. When I first played Pokemon X was the first one I got. I have Pokemon X and Y. When I first played Pokemon X, Greninja was my first starter pick. I don't know if I'd call it underrated, but very well beloved and appropriately beloved. I think Greninja is great. Okay. My favorite Digimon. That's a tougher question. Hmm. I would probably go with Gatomon, Tailmon if you play that. Probably, and I also really liked Patamon because I always identified with TK. So they're probably my favorites. But I also used to make my own Digimon when I was a kid. So in my mind, my answer always goes to like my favorite Digimon is one that literally doesn't exist and nobody knows about. So out of the Digimon that are actually real, I would pick either Gatomon or Patamon as my favorite because I will never forget Patamon's Digivolution into Angemon. I don't know if anybody was I remember it live, I remember when it happened, and I will never forget it. I remember specifically I had to argue with my mom to let me watch that episode because she really wanted me to study for something, and I was like, "No, I have to see this." And so I almost missed it, but luckily I did not. Yeah, but that's all the questions that were in specifically, the post that I made. Was it? Let me just double check, I don't wanna miss anybody's. Sorry, yeah, I was just checking if there was any other questions, but I think I got them all. I think I'm good. But yeah, I just wanted to do a little thing just to kind of like mark the occasion because, like I said at the beginning, I never anticipated spending 2 years on YouTube, and I have no plans to stop anytime moving forward. So it's a little surreal to be at this 2 year mark, especially considering how different my channel is now compared to what it was when I started. Like I mentioned before, when I started, I was specifically on YouTube to do a board game series called Can It Be Played, which I haven't given up on, and I have been prepping a season 2 for, but the big thing that's been taking a lot of time and it's kind of been put on the back burner is not only, real life gets in the way, but I wanna have, like, physical real board games of the things that I'm making, and it takes a lot of time to not only design a board game rule book, but to create the actual components. I've done it for 3 of the game 3 and a half of the games that I did in season 1. So I do have physical copies of Gale Force Winds, parts of a Jimbo, Kitchen Calamity, and Video Athletes. And I'm still figuring out a way to kind of like reuse those. I don't know what I'm gonna do with them. But yeah, I do plan on revisiting that series at some point. But otherwise, I just released a video yesterday that was more of like kind of like a basic what if. Like it was just like I kind of have like levels for how I do what ifs. It's like either it's a really grand story and it's like a 30-minute video, or it's like a 3-minute video and it's just a little thing. So this is kind of like somewhere in the middle there. And that was one that I've had an idea for a while, so I was glad I finally released that. The what if Pokemon gyms weren't type-based, where I invented my own region called the Slothos region. I'm glad I finally actually released that because 'cause I've had that idea for, like, a year, but it never, like, manifested as the next thing I was working on until now. But yeah, the next videos I have in mind, the next ones to be released will likely be what if Izzy was a Pokemon trainer, and then it's either because 'cause I've finished the script for What If James Never Got Engaged Part 6, so the script for that is done. I have to record and video edit that one, so it probably won't be next after that, but I'm trying to not take 6 months on it, but, you know, we'll see if it if it works that way. I'll try to get it because I've already finished the script for part 6, part 7 is already outlined, and part 8 is already outlined, so I already know everything that's gonna happen. I just have to actually write it, record it, and video edit it, all the work. But yeah, so it'll probably be Izzy next, then I'm gonna do yeah, 1 or 2 months does make sense to me because the Izzy video is really short, those are only, like, 3-minute videos, so I finish those really quickly. And then the James video, part 6 and part 7 will probably both be at least 20 minutes, and then part 8, I won't say what's happening in part 8, but part 8 will is at least gonna be 30 minutes. I so much happens in part 8, there's no way it's gonna be less than 30 minutes because part 5 was 31 minutes, and they didn't even have a single gym battle or contest. So, if that's 31 minutes, then what I have planned for part 8 is at least gonna be 30 minutes. So, part 6 and 7 will probably be shorter because they're a lot more gym and contest focused. But yeah, part 8, and then I have ideas for something to do after part 8 in between part 8 and part 9. It's a little side thing, but I'm still toying around with that. I don't know what's gonna be going down. But yeah, so yeah, Izzy will be next. Then probably this other what if story that I've been working on, like I mentioned, specifically it's about Naruto. So I've been toying around with that what if. It's an idea I've had for a while, but that one's already been scripted, it's already been recorded, and I've already done like 2 minutes of video editing on it. I think it'll be like an 11 to 15-minute video. I don't know for sure. But that one's another, like, very story-based one, like, what if James never got engaged, and kind of like what if Jar Jar Binks became Queen of Naboo? I can't say for certain whether I will get rid of Cacnea and Sinnoh or not. Uh, I lean towards not getting rid of Cacnea because I'm not a huge fan. Like, I'm fine with in the anime specifically releasing Pokemon for story reasons, like they have to move on. Like Butterfree being released was a beautiful episode. Lapras being released made a lot of sense, but I don't particularly like when a Pokemon is left specifically to train. I'm not a huge fan of that. Like it always just felt kind of like weak story-wise. It was 'cause it felt more like Ash moving responsibility of training his Pokemon to somebody else. Like if you want and even James in particular, like if you want your Pokemon to be trained, you should train them, not somebody else. But that's like a whole other thing. That's probably just it's just my personal preference that if a Pokemon is to get stronger and is to train and is to work towards something, the trainer should be involved. It feels weird to have it happen, like, off camera. I was never a huge fan of that for Charizard, I don't like it for Primeape, I didn't like it for Cacnea, I didn't like that Squirtle moved on just to help like, a firehouse, that was weird, like, a firefighting team, I always found that weird. but whatever. I get, like, they have to move on and make room for new Pokemon because they have to mix it up, but I never liked that as the reason. That's specifically why in James Part 5, I wanted to find a different reason to make them have to catch new Pokemon. So I was like, I don't want them to just be like, "All right, we're leaving our Pokemon, bye." I wanted there to be, like, an actual reason. Yeah, that's true. Cacnea and Carnivine, they're the only ones we've seen of those species, so it is kind of like it sucks that we don't get to see more of Cacnea. I mean, we got to see more of at least Cacturn, but yeah. Oh, thank you so much. T-Man does games. I also wish you the best. Uh, but yeah, like I said, so that's just what I have coming up next. Izzy will be next, then my Naruto video. It's a what if video. It probably won't get a sequel, but whatever. We'll see. I said that about James, and here we are, part 5. And that one, it's set in the Naruto universe, but it's not Naruto is not the main character of that. Kind of like how my Jar Jar Binks video was about Jar Jar in the Star Wars universe. I like taking like other characters that are maybe not the most beloved and like giving them a little bit of focus in the spotlight. So yeah, Izzy, my Naruto video, maybe James Part 6 after that. And then I'll probably do what if Mimi was a Pokemon trainer? Because, like I said, I plan on doing the Digimon series up until at least Tamers. Yeah, kind of. I like those like alternate timelines, like they did in Dragon Ball Z Super. I like doing alternate timelines where like little things are different, and I think they did that in the Dragon Ball Z games a lot as well, where they would like have like side series that were like, what if this person died here, or what if this person got the power up here instead of there, and stuff like that. So I like doing those kinds of like alternate stories where like one thing is different, and then you have to imagine that what would come about because of that. And then I also am planning to do a sequel to What If the Omnitrix Used Different Aliens? So that was my Ben 10 video. So I've already scripted and yeah, I've already scripted a video for that, a sequel, and it's specifically for the sequel to Ben 10 Alien Force. So it's kind of like reimagining new aliens again because I thought that was a lot of fun. And I also have other ideas for series like that, specifically what if blank was different and just like generically different. And I have one about Power Rangers that I like just started scripting like literally last week. So that one is going to be coming down the line. Oh, and I also have a really weird video. I have two really weird videos in mind that I've started scripting that are totally left field and very weird, but I'm obsessed with them. One of them has to do with The Simpsons, and the other one has to do with Scooby Doo and Ghostbusters. So I'm not going to say how I'm connecting Scooby Doo and Ghostbusters. I'm not going to say what I'm doing with The Simpsons, but it's The Simpsons meets X-Men. It's very weird, but I'm ever since the ideas popped into my head, I've been kind of obsessed with them. So there's a lot of things in my mind for doing next, continuing the series that I've started, doing new videos, and revisiting some of the older stuff I've done, like Can It Be Played? So yeah, there's a lot of things that could be done, that will be done, and I can never give like amazing timelines on them because like I said, I work. So YouTube is obviously not my full-time job. I am monetized obviously, but you don't make a ton of money on YouTube until you get like crazy number of views. So you might be able to I can see how like cuz Ghostbusters with like all of their ghost stuff and Scooby Doo are solving mysteries. But the specific story that I have in mind for that, I would be shocked. Like, if you can predict exactly what I have planned for this, I will tell you what happens in James Part 6. I will tell you what Pokemon James and Jesse catch in Hoenn if you can guess exactly what I have planned. Because there's no way. My favorite X-Men character, probably. Ooh, I've always been a fan of Nightcrawler and Mystique because they were the powers that jumped to my head immediately. Is like I would want those. Plus, they're also just cool characters. Same with Storm, and specifically the X-Men movies. I always was a really big fan of Rogue because I always really liked her, identified with her. She was a great. She was my favorite part of the first movie. As much as I love Wolverine, but And oh yeah, and eventually doing a sequel to What If Ash's Kanto journey was a Nuzlocke. I've mostly just been doing research on that and rewatching the Johto anime. It should be a good sign though that it's taken me a while to do the research that Ash does not immediately lose like he does in Kanto. Things go much better. They are. Oh yeah. And we'll probably be seeing a lot more of X-Men since there are at the very least plans to have the X-Men join the Marvel Cinematic Universe. Oh, speaking of the MCU, I also have a video planned for them. So a what if stories for the MCU. I don't want to spoil what happens, but yeah, it's not it's not a smooth journey as Nuzlocke's never are, but he certainly does better in Johto than he does in Kanto. Yeah, the only problem is like until he gets to Charizard, like he can't if we're just going on Kanto, he'll never reach Charizard. He loses so much before then. But once he has Charizard, as long as he keeps Charizard, things go way better. Yeah, not to spoil his early Johto adventure, but with Charizard in his party, things go very smoothly. Well, relatively smoothly. Let's not. It's a Nuzlocke, so it doesn't go perfectly. But yeah, he still has his losses. He's still Ash, so these things happen. But yeah, unless anybody has any other questions, I guess I'll probably end it there. I don't anticipate doing a lot of live streams like this. It's not really my go-to thing, and I don't always have time. Like I said, I work a lot of jobs and I do a lot of I do a lot of writing, graphic design, web development, so I'm always working. Yeah, I mean like if he's starting an adventure with a fully evolved like giant dragon, things are going well. Not dragon type, but you know what I mean. Like you're going to the first gym with a huge fire breathing beast. Yeah, things are going to go a little smoother than just starting with one Pokemon that doesn't listen to you. Like he had no chance in Kanto. At least he won the Orange League though. I have played Digimon games. I remember playing Digimon World and most recently Digimon Cyber Sleuth. So I bought that on Steam and like finally got to play it, which is pretty fun. I liked it because it was very like classic RPG where I like actually enjoyed grinding. I always find that with like not necessarily JRPGs, but just RPGs where it really encourages you to grind. If the game is actually fun, I like doing that. And I found that in Digimon Cyber Sleuth. I actually liked that. Also, it was very like it had a lot of like Persona vibes. If anyone's played Persona, like Shin Megami Tensei Persona, and that's one of my favorite video game series of all time. So any game that has even like a little bit of that vibe, I'm obsessed with. You should give them a try. Like if you can find it on sale though. Like don't if you're trying something for the first time, don't buy it full price. But if you are buying it on Steam, if if you've played it for less than 2 hours and you're within 2 days of buying a game, you can return it. So If you wanted to buy Cyber Sleuth, play it for an hour, and then return it, you could. I did that with, Baldur's Gate 3. I bought it on launch, and it was awful. It is apparently improved, but on launch, it was like a mess. Like, I couldn't even play it, so I returned it because it was $80, like $80 Canadian. Oh, I wanna play Survive so bad. I need to actually find a copy of that because I've been waiting for Digimon Survive to come out, so I am very much looking forward to finally being able to play that. I don't know I don't know where I'm gonna play it though. That's the big question is because I can't remember if it's on Steam or not. Digimon Survive specifically. I'm gonna look it up right now. Oh, it is. Okay, well then that's the big question, is whether I'll play Digimon Survive on Steam or on Switch. Because I just my partner bought me a Steam Deck for a combined my birthday and Christmas. So I might buy it for Steam so that I can play it on my Steam Deck. But the Steam Deck is not cheap, so I'll probably wait for Digimon Survive to go on sale just because I'm very cheap like that. Because it's expensive. It's not cheap. Solrek, I've been watching you since a few months in the James video, so you do a great job and I appreciate you greatly. Oh, thank you so much. And I like your way of editing. Thank you so much. I like specifically on the editing I do for those videos, I like I watch a lot of videos that are like that or like theories like that, so I try and like do simple stuff like that. But before I started this particular channel, I've never done video editing before. So literally every video I release, I guarantee that there is something in that video that I've done for the first time. So thank you for saying you like the editing because it's the part of my channel that I am like the least experienced in and I'm still figuring out. There's a lot of trial and error. So, you know, I just try and I just try and make it so that it's not like unwatchable. Because the part that I focus the most on is the script because part of my day job is I'm a writer by trade. So I put a lot of my effort into the script and then video editing. I just try and make it as good as I possibly could. James Part 5 is where I started to like really try. Not that I didn't try before, but I really wanted to like put some new things in it. That's why I did like the speaking of Persona, I was doing like the Persona style like text boxes and I tried to do like little like animations and stuff. There'll be more of that in part 6 and 7 for sure. Will there be? Text boxes for sure. I haven't planned any specific animations yet. I'm sure there'll be some. At the very least, there will be when well, I don't wanna say. I I don't wanna spoil, but there will definitely be more animations for specific parts of the story that happen at major times. I won't say what those things are, but they are important. There's a karma system and your choices matter a lot. Yeah, I've heard about the specific you're talking about Digimon Survive, right? Yeah, there's a lot. There's a lot included in that game, which is why I'm very excited about it. Yeah. So I guess I'll probably buy it on Steam because then I can use it on my Steam Deck. Mm, yeah. Yeah, and not just video editing, but also just like I said before, I used to do Twitch streaming just to like kind of get the practice of talking into a microphone. Oh, the Flygon HG joke? Yeah. I messaged him actually. 'Cause I wanted to include that joke, but I also wanted to, like, get his permission because I was like, "I don't wanna include somebody and then them be, like, bummed about it," but I actually messaged him and he thought it was hilarious, so I got his blessing. He's actually a really nice guy. Not that anybody assumed he wasn't, but yeah. Yep, you have Flygon competition. Oh, the animation parts. Well, I definitely have animations in mind for when they actually get to the, the Evergrande Conference and the Grand Festival. So there are parts that happen in there that I don't wanna just use a clip, like, I have an idea in mind for an anime kind of like how in part 5, like, Wobbuffet stepping in front of the shadow ball, I always knew I wanted to try an animation there. I've never done them before, but I was like, "I wanna try." And I have at least 2 moments in 3 moments in particular that I know I wanna try an animation with. One of them is for Jesse in the Grand Festival, one of them is for James in the Evergrande Conference, and the other one is for a different story moment that has nothing to do with the gym or contest challenge, but is very important, and I won't say what it is. I don't want to, because if I get talking about it, then I'm just gonna, because like, I have nobody I don't talk about Pokemon fan fiction with people that often, so if I get going on it, then I'm just gonna spoil everything, and that's gonna ruin it, and then it's gonna be no fun to watch. But yeah, like I said, part 6 is scripted, it's totally done. I don't mind saying it starts with them. Yeah, I don't mind saying how it starts. So specifically part 6, you know what? For the people that are here, since, like, I didn't anticipate anybody coming to here, but for the people who are here, why don't I read you literally the introduction of James Part 6? I mean, it's written, it's done, I don't anticipate changing it, so I don't mind. It's not that, like, exciting, but I don't mind reading this first part. Okay. So first I'm gonna start with a goofy, like, what happened last time, like I usually do, where I, like, reference Star Trek and stuff. I made this, like, this stupid little thing, like, last time on this, and I'm specifically referencing Reboot, if anybody remembers that show. I did one video about Reboot, My Video Athlete Can It Be Played? So I have one there. I do have other Pokemon fanfics in mind. I can talk a little bit about it, but I'll read this first just 'cause it's neat. But then I'm gonna start with kind of like a basic intro. It'll be, mimicking the usual Pokemon narrator thing. I'm gonna try and, like, do my voice like him. Not now because I haven't practiced, but when we last left our heroes, James, Jesse, and Meowth were in Slateport City, about to begin a new Pokemon adventure in Hoenn. But unlike a normal journey, this one began not with excitement and enthusiasm, but with apprehension and worry. Jesse and James recently had many of their Pokemon stolen by Butch and Cassidy, two agents from a group called Team Rocket. This left the duo with only Growly, Chansey, and the newly caught Chimecho and Wobbuffet, but also a mission to save their Pokemon by becoming champions. Well, that's not entirely true. James and Jesse do have other Pokemon who weren't with them when Bartholomew and Cassidy made their move. They also have Slowpoke, Lickitung, and Yanma, who are back at James's summer home in Sinnoh, but they both decide to let them remain there. James and Jesse will call on them if needed, but for now, they want to see what new Pokemon Hoenn has to offer. They're going to need a lot of new friends if they're to rescue their stolen Pokemon. I just hope they're doing all right, that they aren't scared, James says. Don't worry, our Pokemon are tough, and they know that we'll save them. We won't give up, right? Jesse says. No, of course not. We can do this. Meowth, that's right. Leaving the boat Butch and Cassidy rented at the Slateport Harbor, Jesse and James begin their journey to winning the Evergrande Conference and the Grand Festival. Luckily for our heroes, they don't have to go far. Jesse's first contest is right here in Slateport City. And that is the intro to What If James Never Got Engaged, Part 6. And then right after that is Jesse's first contest in Slateport City. So the first contest happens, like, immediately, and she dives right into it. I won't read the contest because it's 2 pages long, it's very long, because it's her first contest, so it's a really big, exciting moment. And she does meet some, like, I won't say who, but she does meet some familiar faces at this contest. It's not all strangers at this contest. Lickitung is going to evolve, isn't it? I don't know. Who knows what's gonna happen? Will Lickitung evolve? Will Yanma evolve? Nobody knows. It's impossible to say. But yeah, so that's what I have in mind. So that's the start to James Part 6. So the rest of the script is finished and their team is like picked. I already have it planned for what Pokemon they're going to be catching and stuff. There will be some familiar faces, there will be some unfamiliar faces. I picked Pokemon for them that I thought were going to be like neat, but also there's some left field choices there that I think are like they fit, but they're a little bit odd, but I like them. Oh, do you have any other Pokemon fanfics in mind? Yes, I do. I do have other Pokemon fanfics in mind. Um, because specifically fanfic, I have plenty of other Pokemon videos in mind. Like my Digimon series is also basically a Pokemon series. The what if Digimon, if the Digidestined were Pokemon trainers? My sequel, obviously, to What If Ash's Kanto journey was a Nuzlocke for his Johto journey. And I have a couple of other, like, one-off videos for Pokemon, kind of like my What If Pokemon Gyms Weren't Type-Based video. So I have other videos like that, but in specifically, like, a fan fiction, there's one in particular that I have planned, but I'm not sure about it yet. I don't hate the idea of it, I just think it needs something else going on. I'm still playing around with the idea, but it's another one where it's like we're following the adventure of someone, uh, catching Pokemon, going on gym challenges, but how it all comes about, I'm still trying to figure out, like, a cool angle because like, this series is specifically it's basically Team Rocket going on a Pokemon adventure, but it has the unique angle of it all being triggered because James's parents weren't awful people who forced him to get engaged to a psychopath. And so I'm trying to kind of find a unique angle so that it's not just a normal adventure. I like there to be like a little other layer of something. Yeah, Ninjask and Shedinja are two of my favorites too, especially in Hoenn. I won't say anything about whether they're involved or not because that's a spoiler. But yeah, that's James Forte. And yeah, so I do have other fanfics in mind for Pokemon, but I probably won't do other Pokemon fanfics until James is done or like close to done because the other fanfics I have in mind are for other series. Like I said, I have ones in mind for like the next one to be released is almost certainly going to be the one I have for Naruto. Then I have one for One Piece, and then I have one for Avatar. I have one for the Marvel Cinematic Universe. I have one for Star Trek. I've got all kinds of ideas, so I'm probably gonna do more of those like one-off fanfics before I start another Pokemon one. Unless a great idea comes to me, then we'll see. Flygon, yeah. Yeah, catching new Pokemon is always my favorite too. I always found myself getting less interested in the anime once it started to get to the end. Like once they had caught all of their teams, like once their team was full, I was like, "Oh, I want them to catch new stuff." But, eventually they have to stop at some point. Because that's the thing. In the anime, you can't catch like 40 Pokemon because then none of them have like anything to do in the narrative. So you have to kind of limit it, which I get, but whatever. Yeah, I won't say anything about Slackoth specifically. Um, but I mean, Slackoth is my favorite Pokemon and basically the mascot of my whole YouTube thing. So I would be remiss if I did not mention Slackoth in one way or another. But yeah, that's what I have planned. And that's what's coming up next. A lot more fanfics, a lot more what ifs, video theories, or I mean fan theories, things like that, and sequels to videos that I've done that just so you know, like I haven't forgotten about them. Like I haven't forgotten about the Nuzlocke, I haven't done all that. Yeah, I haven't forgotten about the Digimon series, the Omnitrix series, the Nuzlocke thing. I think the only video that I've released this I've been trying to do it so that I release 1 video a month minimum this year, and I think the only one that I've done that has no chance of getting a sequel, besides the video I released yesterday, because that's just like a standalone idea, the only one that is definitely not gonna get a sequel is What If Jar Jar Binks Became Queen of Naboo? I had no sequel planned for that. I have no intention of doing a sequel for that, especially considering I don't think people particularly liked that video. Right, bye. I'm gonna be wrapping up in a second anyway, so it's all good. You have a good day too. But yeah, Jar Jar Binks is the only video I've released this year that besides the one yesterday, that has 0 chance of getting a sequel. I don't think people particularly liked my Jar Jar Binks video, but which is too bad because I think it's of the videos I've done, it's probably the best editing that I've ever done. I don't think people were as interested in the story, but I'm very proud of the actual editing. Oh, in that video in particular, it's the only video I've done where I've literally purchased music to use. Like, I licensed music for that video because obviously, if you're going to use any Star Wars music, they're going to copyright you to death. So I had to find some like third party music, and I actually like paid to license it for that video. Yeah, I people aren't like super interested in Jar Jar, so I get it. But Jar Jar is definitely one of those like side characters that is super hated that has really grown on me over the years. I don't know. There's something about a character being like universally hated that I'm like, oh, I have a soft spot for you, poor guy. Yeah, that's the only video that's not going to get a sequel. Otherwise, the rest of the videos this year are probably just going to be continuations of things I've started and maybe 1 or 2 new things. But yeah, so we've gone past an hour here. That's way longer than I was expecting to chit chat, but I'm probably going to wrap it there and just say thank you for stopping by. Thank you for checking in. And thank you for actually watching my videos, which is wild. I mean, when when I first started, I remember being really excited when my first video got 100 views. And I thought like, I was like, "Oh my god, I'm a celebrity." At just 100 views. So the fact that I have on my channel like we're closing in on 2 million views on my channel as a whole is pretty wild and weird. But, yeah, I'm very grateful for it, and, yeah, I'm just gonna keep releasing things as I have done, and thank you for watching up to this point. It's pretty wild, and keep your eyes open for other videos that I'm releasing, and have a great day. Have a restful day. Have a very slothful day. It's Saturday. I don't know if it's Saturday for anybody else, but take the day off and just nap and sleep and relax. That's what I'm going to do after this. Thank you so much for watching. I'm going to head out now. Bye all.